John Harlan didn't know that on that rainy night. When he pulled over on the muddy back road to help a bloodied stranger, he was about to meet the woman who would turn his life upside down, and that the woman who screamed she was a cop was actually the owner of a vast fortune. He was 38 years old with calloused hands from hauling heavy loads since he was a kid, and deep-set eyes that always seemed to look inward. He lived in a simple wooden house on the outskirts of Joplin, raising his daughter Lila alone since she was 7, and woke up every day before dawn to work as a ranch hand on a cattle spread. 3 traits defined John. He was quiet as a stone, protective as an old guard dog, and carried a past that burned inside him. Few knew he'd once been a volunteer firefighter. Even fewer knew that his wife, Emily Harper, a state trooper, had been killed in an ambush years ago. The rain fell hard, pounding the hood of his old pickup truck. It was nearly 10 at night. The dirt road was turning to mud, the headlights barely cutting through the curtain of water. John gripped the wheel tightly, thinking about Lila. She must be waiting for him with dinner ready. That's when he saw the flash. Red, bright, pulsing through the trees. John hit the brakes. The truck skidded. His heart raced, not from fear, but from recognition. Fire. He got out of the truck, the rain soaking his shirt in seconds. The smell of smoke mixed with burning gasoline filled his nostrils. He ran along the roadside, jumped a ditch, and saw it. A silver pickup truck, flipped on its side, the hood crumpled against a tree. Flames licked the bodywork. "Anyone in there?" he shouted. A groan. Weak, coming from inside. John's stomach churned. His hands started to shake. The last time he'd entered a burning vehicle was 7 years ago. He hadn't been able to save anyone that day. Emily was already cold when he arrived. "Anyone in there?" he repeated, louder, more desperate. "Help! I'm a cop. I'm trapped. Get me out." The word cop cut John like a knife. He closed his eyes for a second. Rain streamed down his face. The heat from the fire warmed his left side. Then he opened his eyes again and advanced. The driver's door was locked, dented. John kicked the rear window. Once, twice, 3 times. The glass shattered. He reached in, unlocked the door from inside, pulled hard. The woman was hanging by her seatbelt, her face covered in blood, eyes half closed. "Stay with me," John said, climbing onto the back seat. "I'll get you out." "Stay with me." She murmured something incomprehensible. John pulled the knife from his belt, cut the seatbelt, held her body before it fell. She was light, small. She smelled of expensive perfume mixed with blood. Outlaws. "They're coming after me. I'm a cop. I was tracking them." John didn't respond. He pulled her out of the truck, carried her in his arms, ran back to the road. 10 steps later, he heard the explosion. The gas tank blew. The wave of heat pushed against his back, nearly knocking them both down. He stumbled, fell to his knees in the mud, shielding the woman with his own body. They stayed there for a few seconds, the rain falling, the fire crackling behind. Her breathing weak, irregular. "You're alive," John said, more to himself than to her. "You're alive." He placed her in the back seat of his pickup, covered her with a tarp he had in the truck, called emergency services. The signal was weak, but he managed to give the location. Then he stayed there, watching the road, watching her, watching the shadows among the trees. What she'd said about outlaws echoed in his head. If it was true, he might have just stepped into a war that wasn't his. The ambulance took 20 minutes. When it arrived, John helped load the woman onto the stretcher, answered the paramedics' basic questions. No, he didn't know her. No, he didn't see anyone else. No, he didn't know what caused the accident. When they asked his name, he hesitated, but he gave it. John Harlan. He watched the ambulance leave, the red lights disappearing around the bend. He stood there soaked, tasting smoke in his mouth. Then he got back in the pickup and headed home. Lila was awake, waiting on the porch. When she saw her father covered in mud and dried blood, her eyes widened. "Dad, what happened?" "Nothing, kiddo," John lied, running a hand through her hair. "Just help someone. Come on inside, you'll catch cold." But Lila didn't move. She looked at her father with that serious expression, too old for her age. "Was it like with Mom?" John froze. He couldn't respond. He just went inside, locked the door, headed to the bathroom. He stayed under the cold shower for a long time, watching the dark water swirl down the drain. He tried not to think, but he did. He thought about Emily. He thought about her car in flames. He thought about the woman he'd just saved. He thought about the words, "Outlaws. They're coming after me." 3 days later, the police knocked on the door. It was 10 in the morning. John was fixing the back fence when he heard the engine. He stood up, saw the squad car parked in front of the house. A man got out, tall, paunchy, with a graying mustache and dark sunglasses. He carried a black folder under his arm. "John Harlan?" the man asked. "Yeah. Sheriff Vance. Can I come in?" John wiped his hands on a rag, nodded. They went to the porch. Lila was at school, thank God. The sheriff sat in a plastic chair, took off his sunglasses, looked at the horizon for a while before speaking. "The woman you saved, Clara Dawson. She survived. She's recovering well." John nodded, saying nothing. "She told us she identified herself as a cop that night," Vance continued with a half smile. "But she's not. Never has been." John frowned. "Clara's an heiress, owner of one of the largest cattle ranches in the area, nearly 1,000 head, properties in 3 counties. Her family has money going back before the drought of '88. John felt something cold run down his spine. Rich. The woman was rich, and she lied. Why'd she say she was a cop? Fear, Vance replied. Her ranch has been targeted by thefts, cattle disappearing, fences cut, workers threatened. There's a gang operating in the region, specialized. They steal, rebrand, sell to black market slaughterhouses. We've been investigating for months, but they're smart. That night, Clara was coming back from a meeting with her ranch hands. Someone forced her off the road. The accident wasn't an accident. John stayed silent. His mouth felt dry. She lied about being a cop to protect herself. In case the outlaws found her alive, they'd think twice before killing an investigator. "And you're telling me this why?" John asked. Vance leaned forward. "Because you're the only living witness, John. You might have seen something that helps. A plate. A detail. Didn't see anything. Just rain, fire, and smoke." Vance studied him, then sighed. "If you remember anything, call." He left a card on the table. "And be careful. The gang leader is Nash Hard Hand Keller, ex-cowboy. Lost his land a few years back. Since then, he's turned into what he is. Violent. Knows everyone in the region." John swallowed hard. He knew the name. Vance stood. "Clara wants to talk to you." "To thank you." "No need." She insisted. "Sheriff, I just did what anyone would. Anyone else would have left her to die, John." And he left. John stood there on the porch, staring at the card. Sheriff Vance Mills. He picked it up, crumpled it, threw it in the trash. Then he went to pick up Lila from school. But something had changed. He felt it in the air, in the silence. That night, while Lila slept, John sat on the porch, smoking a cigarette he hadn't had in years. He thought about the woman, Clara, Millionaire. He thought about Nash. He thought about Emily. And John Harlan, who swore he'd never get mixed up in trouble again, felt the weight of the past tighten in his chest. Because that night in the rain was just the beginning. 2 days later, John was fixing the engine of a tractor when he saw the black SUV pulling slowly onto the property where he worked. Tinted windows, out-of-state plates. The engine purred low, expensive. He wiped his hands on the rag, felt his stomach tighten. The vehicle stopped about 10 yards away. The door opened. A tall man in a gray suit got out, hair tied in a ponytail. He wore sunglasses even under the shade of the oak tree. He had a leather briefcase in hand and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "John Harlan?" the man asked, approaching slowly. "Who wants to know?" "Someone here to make an offer." John didn't respond. He just stood there, muscles tense, hands still holding the grease-stained rag. The man chuckled low, took off his sunglasses. He had light, cold eyes. "Relax, buddy. I didn't come to cause trouble. I came to solve one. I don't have any trouble. Not yet, but you might." Silence. The wind rustled the oak leaves. In the distance, the cows lowed. The man opened the briefcase, pulled out a thick white envelope. Heavy. $50,000, he said, extending the envelope. "Yours." Right now. No questions. John looked at the envelope. Didn't move. I just need you to forget what you saw that night on the road. Don't talk to the cops. Don't talk to anyone. Go on with your life. Take care of your daughter. And this money helps a lot with that, doesn't it? John felt his blood heat up. The mention of Lila twisted something inside him. Who sent you? Folks who prefer no witnesses. And if I say no? The man shrugged. Put the envelope back. Then you'll find out bought silence is cheaper than forced silence. He put his sunglasses back on, took 2 steps toward the SUV, stopped, looked over his shoulder. Think about it, John. 50,000. Or 0. And maybe a problem too big to handle alone. He got in the car. The engine started. The SUV drove off, kicking up dust. John stood there, heart pounding in his chest. His hands shook. He pulled out his phone, dialed Sheriff Vance's number, hung up before completing it, pocketed the phone, looked at the horizon. That night when he got home, Lila was acting strange, too quiet, poking at her food without eating. John asked if everything was okay. She said yes, but she was a bad liar. After dinner, while washing dishes, he heard her voice from the bedroom. Dad, can I ask you something? John dried his hands, went to the door. Lila was sitting on the bed, hugging the stuffed bear Emily had given her years ago. Sure, kiddo. That man who came here earlier. John froze. Were you listening? I didn't mean to, she said, eyes shining. But I heard. He talked about money. Any silence. John sat beside her, breathed deep. Lila, this isn't something for you to worry about. But I am worried. Her voice came out louder, trembling. What if it happens like with Mom? What if they hurt you? No one's gonna hurt me. Mom said that too. The silence weighed heavy. Lila started to cry. John pulled her close, hugged her tight, felt her tears wetting his shirt. I don't want to lose you too, she whispered. You won't. I promise. But deep down, John didn't know if it was a promise he could keep. The next morning, he went to the station. He needed to tell Vance about the visit. But when he arrived, the receptionist said the sheriff was out on a call and wouldn't be back until afternoon. John left a message, headed home. That's when he saw the car parked at the gate. A white sedan. Clean. Expensive. A woman was leaning on the hood, arms crossed, looking at the house. Clara. John got out of the pickup slowly. She wore jeans, a light blouse, her hair loose falling over her shoulders. She had a small bandage on her forehead, another on her left arm. But she was alive, standing, looking at him with an expression mixing gratitude and something more, maybe shame. Hi, she said. Hi. Sorry to show up like this. I needed to thank you in person. John didn't respond. He just stood there about 3 yards away, hands in his pockets. You saved my life, Clara continued. And I lied to you, said I was a cop. I'm not. I know. She blinked, surprised. The sheriff told me. Clara looked away, bit her lip. I was scared. I thought if they found me alive and I said I was a cop, I don't know, they'd think twice before finishing the job. It worked. Thanks to you. Silence. Why'd you come here? John asked. Because you risked yourself for me and I wanted, I don't know, to give back somehow. If you need anything, money, work, anything, just say. Don't need anything. Everyone needs something. I don't. Clara took a step forward. Her eyes were brown, intense. I know the police talked to you. I know they asked you to help with the investigation. So? Will you help? John hesitated. Looked at the house, at Lila's bedroom window. Haven't decided yet. Don't decide, Clara said, voice firm. Stay out of it. These people are dangerous. I've already lost workers, cattle, money. I don't want you losing anything because of me. You lost something because of them, not because of me. But you have a daughter, I know that, and she needs you alive. John felt something tighten in his chest. He hadn't expected Clara to know about Lila. Hadn't expected her to care. Why are you telling me this? He asked. Because I don't want anyone else getting hurt because of me. They looked at each other for a while. The wind brought the smell of damp earth, of brush. In the distance, a dog barked. I'll think about it, John said finally. Clara nodded, went back to the car. Before getting in, she stopped. "John, thank you. For real?" He nodded, watched her get in the car, start the engine, drive off down the dirt road. He stood there until the car disappeared around the bend. When he went inside, Lila was in the living room pretending to watch TV. "Who was that?" she asked, trying to sound uninterested. "The woman I saved. She's pretty." John didn't respond. Went to the kitchen, got a glass of water, drank slowly. "Dad," Lila called, more serious now. "Do you like her?" "Hardly know her, Lila. But do you like her?" "Kiddo, stop. I just want to know if you'll forget Mom." John went back to the living room, kneeled in front of his daughter, held her small hands. "Never. I'll never forget your mom. She was the most important woman in my life, and always will be. But what if you like someone else? Then it doesn't mean I forgot. It just means the heart keeps beating." Lila looked at him, eyes full of doubt. "Promise you won't get into danger?" "I promise." But it was the second promise John wasn't sure he could keep. That night, someone knocked on the door. It was nearly 11. Lila was already asleep. John answered with the shotgun in hand, hidden behind the door. He opened a crack. It was Sheriff Vance. "Can I come in?" John opened the door. Vance entered, took off his hat, looked around. "Came to warn you about something. Nash Hardhand Keller knows who you are." John felt the ground drop out from under him. "How?" "Someone talked. Could have been a hospital worker. Could have been someone on the road. Don't know. But he knows. And he sent a message." "What message?" Vance pulled a crumpled paper from his pocket, handed it to John. It had a phrase written in shaky handwriting. "Silence has no price, but your daughter's life does." John felt his blood freeze. John held the paper with both hands, read it again, and again. The words burned. "Silence has no price, but your daughter's life does." "I need to protect Lila," he said, voice coming out hoarse. "I know," Vance replied. "That's why I'm here. I can put a patrol car on rounds on the road, keeping an eye on the house. And that'll fix it?" "It'll help." John crumpled the paper, threw it on the table, ran his hands over his face. He felt the exhaustion, the fear, the anger, all mixed, squeezing his chest. "There's another option," Vance said slowly. "You and Lila can stay a few days at some relative's place, far from here, while we sort this out. Don't have relatives, and I'm not running away. Then cooperate with us. Tell me what you saw that night. Any detail could help." John stayed silent, looked at Lila's bedroom door. She slept there, peaceful, unaware the world was crumbling around her. "There was another vehicle," John said finally. Vance leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "When I got to the scene, I saw tire tracks in the mud. Fresh. 2 different vehicles. One of them forced her truck off the road. Do you remember the tire type?" "Wide. From a big pickup. Maybe a F-250, Silverado. Something like that." Vance jotted it down in the notepad he pulled from his pocket. "Anything else?" John closed his eyes, trying to remember. The rain, the fire, the smell of gasoline. Then the image came. A quick flash before the explosion. There was a sticker on the back window of her truck. One of those ranch stickers. Couldn't read the whole name, but it had something about Eagle Ridge. Vance stopped writing. Looked at John. "Eagle Ridge Ranch? Could be. That's Clara's property." "Then that's it. The sticker was there." Vance closed the notepad, stood. "Good work, John. That helps. And now? Now you stay quiet, take care of your daughter, and let me do my job. I'll put a car patrolling here every night. If anything strange happens, anything, you call me, got it?" John nodded. Vance left. John locked the door, checked the windows, grabbed the shotgun and sat in the living room chair. He spent the night there, awake, watching the dark road. The following days were tense. John took Lila to school, picked her up on time, didn't let her go out alone even to the yard. The girl noticed. She got quieter, clingier. She didn't ask anymore, but her eyes said it all. Fear. On Thursday, John got a text, unknown number. "Need to talk to you. Urgent, Clara." He hesitated, then replied, "Where?" "Gas station on Highway 83, mile 87, noon." John checked the time. 1 hour left. He dropped Lila off at the neighbor's. Mrs. Marissa's made up an excuse, got in the pickup and went. The station was old, half abandoned, 2 rusty pumps and a store with a leaky roof. Clara was leaning on a different car than before, a black SUV, tinted windows. When she saw John, she waved. He got out of the pickup. She came to meet him. She looked tired, deep, dark circles. "Thanks for coming," she said. "What happened?" Clara looked around as if checking if anyone was watching them. "I did something stupid." John waited. "Tried to investigate on my own. Thought if I found where they stashed the stolen cattle, I could pass the location to the police and end this. And they almost got me. I went into an abandoned farm near the Oklahoma border. There were hidden pens in the brush, cattle with irregular brands. I was taking pictures when I heard the dogs barking. I got out before they saw me, but..." She stopped, breathed deep. "I think they followed me home." "Clara, for God's sake. I know it was dumb, but I'm tired of being scared. Tired of watching my property get stolen and doing nothing. And you almost died again." "But I didn't, because you taught me not to give up." John frowned. "I didn't teach you anything." "You did. When you saved me that night, you didn't give up on me even when it was easier to walk away. And I'm not giving up on what's mine." They looked at each other. The wind shook the torn awning over the station. A fly buzzed near the gas pump. "You need to stop this," John said. "Let the police handle it." "The police aren't doing anything. Meanwhile, I lose cattle, money, sleep. And you'll lose your life if you keep going. At least I'll die fighting." Clara took a step forward. She was close. John could smell her perfume, see the scar on her forehead. "Help me," she asked, voice low. "You know the area, know the roads, the shortcuts. Know how these people think. Help me find where they hide the cattle. I have a daughter, Clara. I know, and that's exactly why. The sooner we end this, the sooner she's safe. Or the sooner she becomes an orphan." Heavy silence. Clara looked away. When she spoke again, her voice trembled. "Sorry. I shouldn't have asked. You've done enough already." She turned her back, started walking to the car. "Wait," John called. She stopped. "That farm you went into, where exactly?" Clara turned. Her eyes widened. "You're going to help me?" "No, but I'll pass the info to Sheriff Vance. The right way." She hesitated, then pulled out her phone, showed a map with the location marked. "Here, dirt road, about 15 miles past the Oklahoma turnoff. Old gate, no sign. The pens are about 2 miles into the brush." John memorized it, nodded. "Stay away from this now, seriously. And you? You staying away?" "I'll do what it takes to protect my daughter." Clara took a step toward him again. This time, touched his arm. Lightly. The touch burned. "Thanks, John. For everything." He didn't respond, just looked at her hand on his arm. When she removed it, he felt the absence. He went home, called Vance, passed the info. The sheriff thanked him, said he'd check it out. John hung up, picked up Lila from the neighbors, went back to routine. But that night, he couldn't sleep. He thought about Clara, the way she looked at him, the touch, the perfume. He thought about Emily, too. The difference between the two. One was fire and courage. The other was fire and stubbornness. But both made him feel something he'd tried to bury for years. The will to protect. The will to matter. The next day, Lila asked at breakfast, "Dad, did you go out yesterday?" "I did." "Why?" "Mrs. Marissa said you seemed worried." John took a sip of coffee. "Too hot." "Just tired, kiddo." "Is it because of that woman?" "She needs help, and I'm trying to help." "Like you helped Mom?" "No, different." "Different how?" John stopped. How to explain his heart was confused. "Because your mom was my wife, and this woman is just someone I saved." "Just that?" "Just that." But Lila looked with that way of not believing, and John realized he didn't believe it either. 2 days later, Vance called. "John, I need you to come to the station, now." "Something happened?" "Just come." John left Lila with Mrs. Marissa again, went to town. When he entered the station, Vance was waiting with a grim face. "We went to the farm you pointed out. There were pens, cattle, everything. But also a surprise." "What surprise?" Vance showed a photo on the computer. It was of a truck. Old, dirty, rusty bed. Recognize it? John looked closely, felt something freeze inside him. He knew that truck. He'd seen it before. Years ago. That truck was at the fire, John said, voice fading. The day my wife died. Vance nodded, grave. Yeah, and it belongs to a man named Dwight Carson, ex-cop. Worked with your wife years ago. John felt the world spin. John gripped the edge of the desk, his legs buckled. Dwight Carson. The name echoed in his head. Dwight worked with Emily? John asked. Yeah, they were partners. Until she started investigating cattle rustling on her own. Dwight took leave 2 weeks later. Never came back. John sat. The room spun. Your wife died investigating the same gang operating today, Vance said. And Dwight, her partner, works for Nash Hard Hand Keller. John closed his eyes. Saw it again. The car in flames, the smell. Emily's face unrecognizable. 7 years thinking it was an accident. But no, it was murder. Why didn't you ever tell me? John asked, opening his eyes. Because there was no proof. Just suspicion. Until now. And now you have? Now we have his truck in the wrong place, and you who saw that same truck the day Emily died. John stood, walked to the window, looked at the street. People passed normally, buying bread, chatting, laughing, as if the world hadn't just collapsed. What do you need from me? John asked without turning. Need you to testify, officially, that you saw the truck the day of the fire. With that, I can get a search warrant, and with luck, we arrest Dwight, and he gives up Nash. And if he doesn't, then we keep trying. John turned. I want more than that. I want guarantees. Can't guarantee anything, John. You know that. Then find a way. Because if I'm putting my daughter at risk, it has to be worth it. Vance sighed, took off his glasses, cleaned them with his shirt. All right. I'll put protection at your house. Patrol 24/7. And I'll speed up the investigation. But I need your full cooperation. You got it. Good. Come back tomorrow to sign the formal statement. John left the station with his head boiling. Got in the pickup, started the engine but didn't move. Sat there, hands on the wheel, breathing heavy. Dwight Carson, the man who'd worked with Emily, the man who might have killed her. The phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? John Harlan? Male voice, deep. I know you're poking where you shouldn't. Went to the station, helping that rich woman. John felt his blood freeze. Think about your daughter. 10 years old, long hair, local elementary. Gets out at 5. If you lay a finger on her, no one's laying a finger.
As long as you stop helping the cops. I'm not afraid of you. You should be. You have everything to lose. The call dropped. John punched the wheel. Once. Twice. 3 times. The horn blared. People on the street looked. He didn't care. He peeled out, skidding at the corner, going to pick up Lila. He arrived at school 15 minutes early. Waited at the gate, tense, watching every car that passed, every person on the sidewalk.
When Lila came out, he pulled her close, hugged her tight. Dad, you okay? She asked, scared. Yeah, just wanted to see you. They went home. John locked everything. Windows, doors, gate, grabbed the shotgun, kept it loaded by the bed. Lila asked what was happening. He made up an excuse about rustlers in the area. She didn't believe him, but didn't push. That night, the promised patrol showed up. 2 young deputies on rounds. John thanked them, but knew it wasn't enough. If Nash really wanted to get to Lila, 2 deputies wouldn't stop him. The next day, John went back to the station, signed the statement, confirmed everything about Dwight's truck. Vance thanked him, said he'd move fast. How long until you get him? John asked. 3-4 days. Need the warrant, need to organize the operation. And meanwhile, I sit here waiting to get killed? You have protection. Protection doesn't bring anyone back, Sheriff. Vance didn't respond. Knew John was right. John went to work. Tried to focus, but couldn't. Saw danger everywhere. In the car, passing too slow. In the man, looking too long. In the dog barking in the middle of the night. That afternoon, Clara called. Hi. Can I see you? Not a good time. Please, it's important. John hesitated, then agreed. They set the same gas station as before. When he arrived, Clara was already there. But this time, not alone. A man was with her. Tall, sturdy, with a thick beard and hard eyes. "This is Tony," Clara introduced. "My foreman. Trusted man." John nodded in greeting. "John, I heard you gave a statement about Dwight's truck," Clara said. "Vance told you?" "Yeah, and I came to thank you, and warn you." "Warn me what?" "That Dwight doesn't act alone. He has people inside the police. Someone's feeding info to the gang." "How do you know?" "Because every time the police plan a raid, the outlaws vanish first. Every time they schedule a big meet, it leaks. There's a rat in the mix." John looked at Tony, who nodded. "It's true," the foreman said. "I've lost count of how many times that's happened." "And what do you think I do with that info?" John asked. "I think you be careful," Clara replied. "Because if someone's leaking, they already know you ratted out Dwight. And they'll act." John felt his stomach knot. "They'll come after me. Or your daughter." The words hit like a stone. John looked at Clara. She was right. Of course she was. "What do I do?" he asked, and hated the desperate tone in his own voice. Clara stepped forward, touched his arm again, this time held firm. "Come to my ranch, you and Lila. Stay a few days. I have security, cameras, armed hands. You'll be safe until the police sort this. I can't accept that. You can, and you will. Clara, John, you saved my life. Let me save yours." They looked at each other, her eyes firm, determined. His tired, scared. Tony cleared his throat, looked away. "All right," John said finally. "But just until the police arrest Dwight." "Deal." That afternoon, John picked up Lila, packed clothes, locked the house. Said they'd spend a few days at a ranch. Lila asked if it was that woman. John confirmed. Eagle Ridge Ranch was huge. Iron gate, guard shack, cameras. The house had 2 stories, wide porch, well-kept garden. Clara greeted them smiling. "Welcome." Lila looked impressed. "You live here alone?" "Yeah, but now I have you two." The room was spacious with a double bed and a single. Private bathroom, window to the pasture. When Clara left, Lila sat on the bed. "She's nice and pretty and likes you." John stopped unpacking the bag. "How do you know?" "I saw the way she looks. Like Mom used to." John sat beside her. "And does that bother you?" Lila was quiet, then answered softly. "Just don't want to forget Mom. We'll never forget." "Never. Promise?" "Promise." At night they had dinner together. Clara made spaghetti. Lila ate a lot, laughed. John saw his daughter relax for the first time in days. Afterward, Clara and John sat on the porch while Lila watched TV. "Thanks," John said. "For everything." "No need." "Yeah, there is." Silence. Crickets chirped. "Why'd you stop that night?" Clara asked. "A lot of folks would have driven by." "Because I couldn't save my wife. Wasn't gonna let another person die. I'm sorry about her." "Me too. But you know it wasn't your fault, right?" "Yeah. But doesn't change how I feel." "And how do you feel?" John looked at her. Guilt, anger, and now, confusion. Clara understood. The next morning, John woke to his phone ringing. It was Vance. "We've got a problem." John sat up in bed, heart already racing. "What problem?" "Dwight's gone. We went to his place to execute the warrant. Empty. Clothes, papers, money, all taken. He knew we were coming." "How'd he know?" "Someone tipped him, just like Clara said. There's a rat in here." John felt the rage boil. "And now?" "Now stay at the ranch. Don't leave. Things just got complicated." John hung up, looked out the window. The sun rose over the pasture, cows grazing peacefully. Everything seemed calm. But it wasn't. Under that peace, a war was raging. Clara knocked on the door. "Can I come in?" "Yeah." She entered with a tray, coffee, toast, cheese. "Heard you on the phone. What happened?" "Dwight bolted. Someone warned him." Clara set the tray on the nightstand, sat on the edge of the bed. "I warned you there was an infiltrator." "Yeah, but that doesn't solve anything now." "It does. Because now we know we can't trust the whole police, just the trustworthy ones." "And who's trustworthy?" "Vance. Some old deputies. And us." John looked at her. "Us? John, I already said I'm not sitting around waiting for them to fix it, and you're not the type to sit still either." She was right. John hated admitting it, but she was. What do you want to do? Want to find the pens, the place where they stash the stolen cattle. If we find it and pass it to Vance without going through anyone else, they won't have time to run. You tried that once and almost died. This time I'm not going alone. John breathed deep. Clara, think, John. Dwight bolted, but Nash is still out there. As long as he's operating, you and Lila won't have peace. But if we shut down his operation once and for all, the problem ends. Or we die trying. Better than dying waiting. Silence. John knew she wouldn't back down. He knew that look. It was the same Emily had. Determination of someone who'd decided and wouldn't turn back. All right, he said. But rules. No trespassing on private land. No direct confrontation. We just observe, map, and pass to Vance. Deal. And Lila stays here. Protected. Tony watches her. I trust him with my life. John nodded. Got up, drank coffee quick. Clara left to prepare everything. When Lila woke, John sat with her on the porch. Kiddo, I need to go out today. Handle some things. Lila looked at him suspicious. What things? Adult things. Dad, don't do that. Do what? Lie to me. I know it's about those bad guys. I know you're in danger. John took her hand. I'll be fine. Promise. You've promised that before. And I've kept it. I'm here, aren't I? Lila hugged him tight. Just come back, okay? Just come back. I will. At 10 in the morning, John and Clara left in her pickup. Tony stayed at the ranch with Lila, armed, alert. They took binoculars, camera, notes on suspicious spots. The plan was simple. Drive around the abandoned properties in the area. Look for signs of activity, hidden cattle, trucks coming and going. The first property was an old farm, fences down, house collapsing. Nothing. The second, same. At the third, they found fresh tire tracks. Followed the trail. It led to a hidden pasture behind a hill. Clara stopped the pickup far off, grabbed the binoculars. There's cattle, she said. About 50 head. And 2 men watching. John looked. Recognized one. Tall, skinny scar on his face. He'd seen that man before years ago at a town fair. Ran with Dwight. That's one of Nash's goons, John said. You sure? Positive. Clara took photos, noted the exact location. Then they left slowly, without noise. On the way back, they passed a side road. John saw something that made his blood freeze. A familiar pickup, black, tinted windows. The same one that brought the suited man to him days ago. Stop, John said. Clara stopped. They looked. The pickup was parked in front of an old barn. 2 men talked outside. One was the suit. The other older, graying beard, leather cowboy hat. Nash, hard hand, Keller. It's him, Clara whispered. John felt the hate rise. That man was responsible for Emily's death, for the threat to Lila, for everything. Let's go, John said, controlling his voice. Wait, let me get a photo. Clara, no. But she was already out of the pickup, camera in hand, approaching slowly behind a barbed wire fence. John got out too, followed her. Clara, come back. She didn't hear. Focused the camera. Click, click, click. That's when one of the men turned, saw her, yelled. Someone's there. Everything happened fast. Nash and the suit looked. Recognized Clara, drew guns. John pulled her back. They ran to the pickup. She started the engine, floored it. Shots rang out. The rear window exploded. John ducked, covering his head. Clara drove like mad, skidding curves, kicking up dust. They looked in the rear view. The black pickup was behind. Fast, dangerous. They're gonna catch us, Clara said, voice trembling. Keep driving, don't stop. John grabbed his phone, called Vance. Sheriff, it's John. Being chased by Nash and his men. Old road from the Oklahoma line heading to Joplin. Sending patrol now. Hold on. The black pickup accelerated, bumped their rear. Clara lost control for a second, recovered. Turned onto a side road trying to shake them. The black one followed. Another shot. The rear tire blew. Clara's pickup spun, went off the road, hit a fence, stopped. John looked back. Nash was getting out of the car, gun in hand, smiling. Get out, John said to Clara. What? Get out and run. I'll hold them. I'm not leaving you. Clara, for God's sake, run. She looked at him, tears in her eyes. Then got out, ran into the brush. John got out too. Stood between Nash and the direction Clara had gone. Nash approached slowly. John Harlan, the hero firefighter. Saved the pretty lady, now thinks he's got all the answers. You killed my wife. Nash laughed. Yeah, I did. She was stubborn, like you, like that one who ran. John clenched his fists. The cops are coming. They'll be late, like they were for your wife. Nash raised the gun, aimed at John. That's when the siren sounded. Still far, but coming. Nash hesitated, looked at the suit. Let's go, the suit said. Not worth it. Nash spat on the ground, holstered the gun, went back to the pickup. They sped off. John dropped to his knees, hands shaking, heart hammering. Clara came out of the brush, ran to him, hugged him. You okay? Yeah. I thought, me too. The patrol arrived. Vance jumped out running. What happened here? John told everything, the photos, the barn. Nash. Vance noted it all, asked Clara for the photos. With this, I can get him arrested, Vance said. Caught red-handed. Threats, attempted murder. When? Today. I'll organize it. They took John and Clara back to the ranch. When they arrived, Lila ran to the door, hugged her dad. You came back. I did. That night, John couldn't sleep. Lay there staring at the ceiling, reliving everything. Vance called the next morning, voice firm, determined. John, got approval for the operation? This afternoon. We'll surround the barn and take everyone down. Need me? No. You've done your part. Now it's ours. Vance, be careful. These guys are dangerous. I know. That's why I'm bringing in outsiders. People I trust. John hung up. Felt relief mixed with anxiety. Wanted it over. Wanted Lila to go home without fear. Wanted to sleep without jumping. Clara knocked on the bedroom door. Can I come in? Sure. She entered. Brought coffee. Sat in the chair by the window. Heard about the operation? Vance called you? Yeah. Said by end of day Nash is locked up. Hope so. Silence. Clara fiddled with the cup without drinking. John, thanks. For everything you did. Risked your life. Lila's safety. All for me. Wasn't just for you. For me too. For Emily. For justice. Still. She stood, walked to him. Stop there, close. Brown eyes fixed on his. When this is over, what will you do? Go home. Back to routine. Take care of Lila. That's it? That's it. Clara bit her lip. And us? John felt his chest tighten. Clara, I know you feel something, I see it. Same way I feel. I just lost my wife 7 years ago. Still processing it all. And you have a life. Money. Properties. I'm just a ranch hand. You saved my life, that's not just a ranch hand. You know what I mean. Clara stepped closer. Touched his face. Soft. Tender. John Harlan, I don't care what you have or don't have. I care about who you are. And you're the bravest, most honest man I've ever known. John held her hand. Wanted to pull her close. Wanted to kiss her. But couldn't. I don't know if I'm ready. That's okay. I'll wait. She left the room. John stayed there alone, feeling her perfume in the air. That afternoon, John was on the porch with Lila when he heard the noise. Helicopter. Low. Flying over the ranch. Then sirens. Distant, but approaching. It's happening, John said. Lila held his hand. It's gonna be okay, Dad. Yeah. Tony appeared, radio in hand. John, Sheriff Vance is calling on the radio. Wants to talk to you. John took the radio. Hello? John, it's me. We're surrounding the barn. Lots of movement. Lots of people. Gonna be a shootout. Be careful. Always. Just wanted to let you know. If it goes right, Nash is in cuffs in an hour. And if it doesn't, Vance didn't answer. The radio crackled. Then silence. John handed the radio back to Tony. Looked at the horizon. He could see the smoke. Far off. Rising. The minutes dragged. John paced back and forth. Lila watched TV but wasn't paying attention. Clara stayed in the living room fiddling with her phone, nervous. 40 minutes later, John's phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? John. The voice was weak, panting. Vance. It went wrong. John's blood froze. How? They knew we were coming. We're waiting. Ambush. Blew a fence. Surrounded us. 3 deputies wounded. Nash got away. Where to? Don't know, but he sent a message. Said he's coming for you. And Clara. Tonight. John felt the world collapse. Vance. Listen. I'm sending backup to the ranch, but it'll take 40 minutes. Until then, you need to hold, lock everything, arm up, don't let anyone in. Got it. John hung up, ran to the living room. Clara, Tony, huddle now. He told them everything. Clara paled. Tony ran to get the guns. They had 2 shotguns, a revolver, locked all doors, windows, turned off lights. John put Lila in the back bedroom, safer. Kiddo, stay here. Don't come out, don't make noise. Dad, I'm scared. I know, me too. But I won't let anything happen to you. Kissed her forehead. Left, locked the door from outside. Back to the living room. Clara held the shotgun with both hands. Shaking. You know how to shoot? John asked. My dad taught me. Long time ago, but I remember. Good. Cover the front window. Any movement, yell. Tony took the kitchen, watching the back. John in the living room, guarding the front door. They waited. 5 minutes, 10, 15. That's when they heard the engine noise. Far. Approaching. Car coming, Clara said. John crouched, peeked through the window crack. 2 vehicles. Black pickup, old sedan. 4 men got out. Nash was among them. Clara, Nash yelled. I know you're in there. Come out now and no one gets hurt. John looked at Clara. She shook her head. I'm not coming out, she yelled back. Nash laughed. Then we're coming in. The men advanced. One kicked the gate. Tony shot. The shot missed close, hit the post. The men retreated, hid behind the vehicles. They're armed inside, one yelled. Better yet, Nash replied. The shootout started. Windows shattered. Holes appeared in the walls. John fired back, hit the pickup's tire. Tony winged one of the men in the arm. He yelled, fell. But there were too many, and they had plenty of ammo. John checked his watch. 20 minutes until backup. 20 minutes that felt eternal. Clara, ammo, John shouted. She tossed a box. John reloaded. Fired again. Nash hid well. Smart. Cowardly. That's when they heard glass breaking. In the back. Tony, John shouted. Tony ran to the kitchen. Yelled. A shot. Silence. Tony, Clara shouted, desperate. John ran. Saw Tony down, clutching his shoulder. Blood. A man climbing through the window. John shot. Hit him in the chest. The man fell back. Out. John helped Tony up. Took him to the living room. Clara tore her blouse. Made an improvised bandage. Hang in there, she said, crying. More shots. The front door splintered. They were trying to break it down. John pulled the dresser, barricaded the door. It wouldn't hold long. Clara, get Lila. Take her to the back bathroom. Lock it from inside. And you? I'll hold here. John. Go! She ran. John was alone. Gripped the shotgun. Breathed deep. Thought of Emily, of Lila, of Clara, of everything he'd lost, of everything he still had to lose. The door gave way. Nash entered. Gun drawn. Saw John. Smiled. End of the line, hero. John aimed. Nash did too. 2 shots. At the same time. John felt the pain. Shoulder. Hot. Wet. Dropped to his knees. Looked ahead. Nash had fallen too. Chest. Blood spreading. Sirens. Finally, police arriving. John fell on his back. Looked at the ceiling. Heard shouts. Footsteps. Hands holding him. Hang on, John. It was Vance. John tried to speak. No sound came. Everything went dark. John woke 3 days later. Hospital light burned his eyes. Everything white. Clean. Smelled of disinfectant. Tried to move. Sharp pain in the shoulder. Groaned. Dad! Lila. She was there, in the chair beside the bed. Eyes red from crying. Jumped up, hugged him carefully. You're awake! You're awake! John tried to speak. Throat dry, scratchy. Water. Lila got the cup, helped him drink. The liquid went down cold, soothing. How long? John managed to ask. 3 days. You had surgery. The bullet hit your shoulder but missed anything vital. Doc said you got lucky. Lucky? John almost laughed. Didn't feel like luck. Clara? He asked. She's fine. Comes here every day. Just stepped out for food. Tony? He's good too. Took a bullet in the shoulder like you. Recovering. And Nash? Lila got serious. Dead. You got him. The others arrested. It's over, Dad. Really over. John closed his eyes. Felt a weight lift from his chest. Over. Finally over. The door opened. Clara entered. When she saw John awake, her face lit up. Ran to the bed. John, thank God. She held his hand, squeezed, eyes shining with tears. Thought I'd lose you, she said, voice choked. Hard to kill. Clara laughed, crying at the same time. Kissed his hand. John felt something warm spread through his chest. Not pain, something else. Something he hadn't felt in a long time. Vance showed up late afternoon. Brought flowers, fruit. How's the hero? Alive. Best shape possible. Vance pulled a chair, sat. Came to give updates. Arrested everyone involved. Dwight was caught trying to flee to Mexico. Confessed everything. The scheme, the accomplices, and Emily's death. John felt a lump in his throat. He confessed? Yeah. Said she found out about the operation. Was gonna report it. They staged the accident. Dwight set the car on fire. The tears came. John didn't hold back. Cried there in front of everyone. Lila hugged him. Clara held the other hand. Vance bowed his head, respectful. He'll pay, Vance said. For everything. Promise. John wiped the tears. Breathed deep. Thanks. For everything. I should thank you. You were braver than most. Vance left. Lila went for water. Clara stayed. Comfortable silence. John, she started. When you get discharged, what will you do? Go home. Try to live normal again. And after? John looked at her. The brown eyes, loose hair, the delicate but strong way. After, don't know. Still trying to make sense of what happened. With everything. With you. Clara stepped closer. I can wait for you to figure it out. Wait as long as it takes. Why? Because it's worth it. You're worth it. John felt his chest tighten. In a good way. Scary and calming at once. Clara, I'm not... Don't say you're not enough. Because you are. To me, you are. She leaned in, kissed his forehead. Slow. Tender. Then left the room, leaving her perfume in the air. John lay there, staring at the ceiling. Thinking, feeling. Emily would always be in his heart. Always. But the heart had room for more. Room for Lila to grow. For new days. For new people. Maybe for Clara. 2 weeks later, John was discharged. Arm in a sling, body aches, but alive. Clara drove him and Lila home. The house was clean, tidy, flowers on the table. A note. Welcome back. Clara. Lila ran to her room. Came back with a drawing. Showed her dad. Made this for you. It was him, Clara, and Lila, holding hands, smiling. Below in shaky letters. Family. John looked at his daughter. You approve? Lila smiled. Yeah. Mom would too. John hugged her. Tight. Felt the certainty in her words. Emily would have approved. Would have wanted him happy. Alive. Months passed. John went back to work. Life settled. Clara visited. They had dinner together, talked on the porch. Lila got used to her. Laughed at her jokes, asked for advice. One day called her Aunt Clara. Clara cried with joy. 6 months after the shootout, John was on the porch when Clara arrived. Brought a box. Brought you something. Opened it. Inside, an old belt buckle. Firefighter symbol. Like the one he'd lost years ago. Found it in an antique shop, thought of you. John held the buckle. Heavy. Cool. Full of meaning. Thanks. John, can I ask you something? Always. Are you ready? He knew what she meant. No need to explain. Almost. How much longer? John looked at her. At the house. At Lila playing in the yard. At the life he'd rebuilt brick by brick. Think I'm ready. Just scared to admit it. Clara smiled. That smile that lit everything. John pulled her close. Hesitated a second. Then kissed her. Slow. Soft, Clara responded, her hands on his face, his on her waist. When they parted, Lila was at the door, smiling. Finally, the girl said. Thought it'd never happen. The three laughed. That night, they had dinner together. Spaghetti, salad, juice, laughter. Lila told school stories. Clara talked about the ranch. John just listened, smiling. For the first time in years, he felt whole. After dinner, they sat on the porch. Lila already asleep. John and Clara looked at the stars. You think Emily's watching? Clara asked. Yeah. And she's happy. How do you know? Because she always wanted me happy. And now I am. Clara leaned her head on his shoulder. John put his arm around her. They stayed like that. Silent. Just hearing the crickets, the wind, life going on. A year later, John proposed to Clara. Simple. On the porch. With Lila holding the ring. Clara said yes before he finished asking. They married in a small ceremony. Close friends. Vance was best man. Lila, flower girl. She wore the dress Emily had saved for special occasions. John cried when he saw. Clara did too. At the reception, John danced with Clara, then with Lila. The girl looked at him serious. Dad, do you still remember Mom? Every day, kiddo. Every single day. Me too. And I think now she's at peace. Why? Because you're at peace. And so are we. John hugged his daughter, looked over her head, saw Clara talking to guests, saw the full house, saw the life he'd built from the ruins of tragedy. Emily was at peace. He was too. And finally, after so long, the weight on his shoulders was gone. Not completely, never completely, but light, bearable, human. John Harlan, the man who saved a stranger in the rain without knowing she was a millionaire, had found something more valuable than any fortune. He'd found the way back to life, to hope, to love. And this time, he wasn't alone. He had Lila. He had Clara. He had Emily's memory blessing it all. He woke early, walked the porch of the house, now the ranch where the three lived, heard the rooster crow, the world's breath. But now, in the distance, two voices laughed softly. Lila chasing chickens, Clara calling them for coffee. And John, for the first time in 7 years, smiled for real. Because life, no matter how much it hurts, how much it takes pieces, always finds a way to start over. Always.